Hallo zusammen! In this little vlog I want to take you with me on an awesome weekend I spent in Berlin in late March of 2019. I was there to meet my good YouTube friend Rick for the first time in his hometown, and we also attended to the big anti-Article 13 protest march in Berlin. I had planned to meet Rick, aka Superflash Crash, on YouTube and Twitch in Berlin for a long time now, but until that weekend it never really worked out for both of us. I live in North Rhine-Westphalia, which is in West Germany, and he's a natural-born Berlin dude, which is located in the northeast. When we found out and learned more about the copyright reform plans of the EU, including potential rigorous upload filters, and that's certainly not to say that we are against copyright, quite the opposite, but we strongly believe that implementing upload filters, which certainly might not be able to differentiate between, well, an actual serious information and a parody or something like a satirical take on it, is highly problematic and might very well open doors to censorship and the like. In addition to that, implementing them would be quite tricky, especially for little companies, which might not be able to afford programming their own upload filters and therefore would have to rely on buying or licensing filter solutions from the big players. You know who they are, who would only benefit from that even more. Not to mention certain print magazines and print publishing magazines or publishers, which might be a bit, well, on the anti-spectrum of digital media in general. And believe me, there are big influential players at the end of that line as well. So in theory, you'd have to make single contracts with, well, pretty much every single copyright owner on the entire planet. Which, of course, is highly feasible and workable. We all know that. Now, I could mention certain, well, not so nice things some people from the European Parliament have said to or about the protesters being bots and being fake and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not gonna mention that too much here because that would only make me kinda angry once again, and no.
Zeig mal, genau. Ja, nice. Nice.
Anyway, talking about the actual protest march. It pretty much took us, well, I'd say 3.5 to 4 hours, including speeches, and we basically covered, well, big parts of central Berlin, which was pretty cool, to be honest, not only because of the whole atmosphere, the mood there, with all of those likable and really open-minded people, well, the nice weather, pretty much everything was perfect there. No riots, everything was peaceful, it was just a good time.
In Berlin auf der Urheberrechtsdemo. Ja, ab geht's. Schon krass. Save your Internet, 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 save your Internet. Du als Magic-Karte. Auch bei einer anderen Karte. Stopp die Zensur! 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 Stopp die Zensur!
And along with so many friendly and peaceful young and old people, by the way, we also met a few German YouTubers and Twitch streamers who were there as well. You might recognize this guy from one of my latest videos, as of March 2019 that is. Yes, it's Christian Solmecke, the YouTube media and IT lawyer I just introduced you to. It was very cool to receive a bro fist from him and to be able to thank him for his many videos about this topic and other important things. And pretty much the same applies for Funk Royal, one of my favorite German streamers. A very kind and likable guy as well. I could thank him as well, and we had a handshake.
Finde ich super, dass du hier so mitmachst.
Ich finde super, dass ihr auch hier seid.
Ja. Top. Hau rein, schönen Dank.
Ebenso, Dankeschön. Ciao.
I think I could even name a few more problems regarding this big new copyright reform that, as of March 26th, has passed the European Parliament. Yes, and will most probably become reality, take effect within at least 2 years from now. And as far as I know, the only way to stop this now would be a veto from Germany, for instance, in the European Council, which would negate the reform as a whole though. I think it's quite questionable this would be a realistic option to hope for though, because even though both big parties in Germany, the CDU, the Conservatives, and the SPD, the Social Democrats, are or at least seem to be against upload filters, which is also stated in the so-called Koalitionsvertrag, the coalition contract, which isn't legally binding though. Interestingly enough though, pretty much all CDU members in the European Parliament voted for the copyright reform. And even though I usually don't want to talk about politics or specific politicians in terms of their ideologies and stuff on this channel, I will say that I made my conclusions regarding the strong appreciation in favor of the reform and highly divisive Articles 11, 12 and 13 by the CDU in particular. And by the way, just a couple of days ago, the biggest petition to have ever happened in the European Union was handed over to Katharina Barley, the current Minister of Justice in Germany. More than 5 million people have signed that statement against upload filters by now, and more than 200,000 people gathered and protested in many big German cities on Saturday, March 23rd. Regarding this Berlin protest march, numbers vary between 30,000 and 50,000 people. And on top of all that, there were thousands of others protesting in other European countries that day too.
Das sind definitiv einige Tausende. Ich meine, ich kann es jetzt ja nicht vergleichen mit früheren Demos, aber also, ja, wie du schon meintest, es könnten theoretisch geschehen sind, so 6, 7, 8, 9.000 sein, vielleicht auch 10 oder mehr. Man kann es echt schlecht schätzen. Ja. Vorne ab, ja.
After the protest march, we ate and drank a little bit. And we also recorded a podcast with our impressions on the protest march, what we experienced there and more. You can find a link to our German podcast channel about many different topics and, well, pretty much a whole new episode each month in the video description. Even though we weren't successful with our protests, we all made a strong point and impression, and we surely won't forget. Because, what a coincidence! EU Parliament elections are going to take place on May 26th, So let's see how they might turn out in this light. Check out links to all mentioned and related channels in the video description. Thanks for watching, I'm your Vlog Dave, tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.